Socrates, the father of Western philosophy. Welcome back to Moonlit by K. Tonight, we're going on a journey back to ancient Greece to explore the life and teachings of one of the most fascinating philosophers of all time, Socrates. As we begin, let yourself sink into a peaceful state, breathing deeply and letting your mind relax. Socrates believed that the search for wisdom starts within. So let your thoughts flow freely as we explore the wisdom of this great thinker. Chapter 1: The Early Life of Socrates. Socrates was born around 470 BCE, also known as before Common Era, in Athens, a city renowned for its intellectual and artistic achievements. Growing up in this vibrant atmosphere, young Socrates was surrounded by ideas, discussions, and debates that would shape his lifelong pursuit of truth. Yet, unlike many of the philosophers of his time, Socrates didn't write down his ideas or record his thoughts in books. Instead, he wandered the streets of Athens, talking to people from all walks of life. He didn't teach in the formal way that we might imagine a philosopher would today. No grand lectures, no written works. Instead, Socrates preferred simple conversations, dialogues. He believed that real understanding didn't come from memorizing facts, but from questioning them, challenging them, and deeply thinking about what they really meant. Chapter 2: The Socratic Method. This brings us to one of Socrates' most significant contributions to philosophy, what we now call the Socratic Method. It wasn't a method in the sense of a set of rules, but more like an approach to thinking. When Socrates spoke with someone, he didn't just lecture or tell them what he believed. Instead, he would ask them a series of questions. These questions were meant to make people think about their beliefs, to examine their assumptions, and to consider ideas from different angles. Imagine yourself walking along the bustling streets of ancient Athens, where you come across Socrates, who would likely start with a simple question. Perhaps he would ask, "What is justice?" Or "What is courage?" You might give an answer, something you believed was correct, but then, gently, Socrates would ask more questions. How do you know that? What if the situation were different? Slowly, your certainty would begin to fade. You'd realize how little you truly understood about the concept you thought you knew so well. Socrates believed that wisdom began with admitting that you didn't know everything. It's this pursuit of knowledge, this idea that we must question everything, that was at the heart of his philosophy. Chapter 3: Socrates and the Oracle at Delphi. There's a famous story about Socrates that begins with a visit to the Oracle at Delphi, a sacred site in ancient Greece where people would go to ask the gods for advice. According to legend, a friend of Socrates asked the oracle whether there was anyone wiser than Socrates. The oracle's response was, "No one is wiser." When Socrates heard this, he was perplexed. He didn't believe he was wise at all. In fact, he believed that he knew nothing. But as he thought about it, he realized that what set him apart was that while others claimed to know many things, he understood the limits to his knowledge. He knew that he didn't know, and that in itself was wisdom. This idea, this true wisdom, comes from understanding how little we truly know, is one that echoes through the centuries, reminding us of the importance of humility and self-awareness in our quest for knowledge. Chapter 4: Socrates' influence on Plato. Socrates' life had a profound influence on many people, including his most famous student, Plato. Plato would later go on to write many philosophical works, most of which feature Socrates as a central character. Through Plato's writings, we're able to learn about Socrates' thoughts, methods, and beliefs, even though Socrates himself never wrote anything down. One of the most famous of these works is The Apology, which details the trial of Socrates in 399 BCE. Socrates was put on trial, accused of corrupting the youth of Athens and of impiety, or not believing in the gods of the city. In his defense, Socrates didn't apologize in the way we think of today. Instead, he defended his life's work and his commitment to asking difficult questions. He believed that his role in society was to act as a gadfly, someone who challenges and provokes, pushing others to think critically. Chapter 5: Socrates' Death and Legacy. Unfortunately, Socrates' defense did not win over the jury, and he was sentenced to death by drinking hemlock, a poison. Socrates accepted his fate calmly. He believed that the pursuit of truth and virtue was more important than his own life. In the final moments, as described by Plato, Socrates' last words were said to have been, "Crito, we owe a cock to Asclepius. Pay it and don't forget." These words were a reference to the Greek god of healing, as if to say that his death was a kind of healing or release from the earthly world. Even in death, Socrates' commitment to his beliefs was unwavering. His death only strengthened his legacy, as philosophers for centuries would continue to study his life and his teachings. Chapter 6: Socrates' Lasting Legacy. As we drift further into this peaceful journey, let's reflect on what Socrates left behind. His emphasis on questioning the world around us and not taking things at face value, but diving deeper into understanding, reminds us to stay curious, even when we feel unsure. It's okay not to have all the answers. Wisdom comes from recognizing that learning is a lifelong process. And so tonight, as you close your eyes, let yourself embrace the calmness that comes from not needing to know everything, but being open to discovery, to wonder, and to the beauty of the unknown. Let this quiet reassurance of Socrates' wisdom guide you into a restful sleep. May you dream of ancient Greece, of curious minds, and of peaceful inquiry. Remember, the journey to wisdom is as important as the wisdom itself. Plato, the philosopher who bridged worlds. Welcome to another peaceful journey with Moonlit by K. Tonight, we venture back to the world of ancient Greece once again, to explore the life of Plato, one of the greatest thinkers in Western philosophy. As we embark on this soothing exploration of his life and ideas, let your mind unwind and your body relax. close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and let any tension melt away. Plato's wisdom is timeless, guiding us through both the visible world and the invisible, with calm reflections on life, truth, and beauty. Chapter 1: The Life of Plato. Plato was born around 427 BCE in Athens, a city brimming with intellectual activity, art, and the seeds of democracy. He came from a wealthy and influential family, but he chose a different path, one that focused on seeking truth, understanding the world around him, and exploring the deeper meanings of life. Plato's journey as a philosopher was deeply influenced by his teacher, Socrates, whose ideas and methods shaped Plato's own philosophical outlook. Now imagine young Plato walking through the vibrant streets of Athens, absorbing the bustling life of the city. In the heart of the city, he often found himself drawn to the conversations and debates of the Athenian agora, where Socrates would engage people in dialogue. Plato admired Socrates' unique way of thinking, and it wasn't too long before he became his student. Little did Plato know, his life would soon take a different turn, forever linking him to the timeless search for knowledge. Chapter 2: The Impact of Socrates' Death. As Plato grew under the mentorship of Socrates, he learned to question everything, just as his teacher did. But in 399 BCE, when Socrates was sentenced to death, Plato's world was shaken. The trial and the execution of Socrates deeply affected him, as it did many of Socrates' followers. To see a man executed for challenging the beliefs of the society was both painful and eye-opening for Plato. In this moment of loss, Plato realized the importance of preserving his teacher's wisdom. So Plato began to write. He composed dialogues, stories where Socrates was the main character, discussing ideas and concepts that would define Western philosophy. In these writings, Socrates' voice would continue to live, but they would also reflect Plato's own ideas, slowly merging the teacher and student into one profound body of thought. Chapter 3: Plato's World of Ideas. The Theory of Forms. As we move deeper into Plato's ideas, let your thoughts wander into a peaceful realm of imagination. Plato believed that beyond the world we see, the world of everyday life, there exists another, higher reality. This world, Plato said, is the world of forms or ideas. These forms are perfect and unchanging. Unlike the material world, which is full of imperfection and constantly changing. For example, think about a simple concept like a circle. In the physical world, every circle we draw or see is never perfect. There are always small imperfections. But in the world of forms, there exists a perfect circle, flawless and eternal. This perfect circle is what every real circle tries to imitate. Plato believed that this higher reality, the world of perfect forms, was the true reality. Everything we see and experience is just a shadow or reflection of these perfect forms. In a sense, Plato was inviting us to look beyond the surface, to realize that what we see is not all there is. As you lie here now, letting yourself drift into calmness, consider the idea that the world we know might just be a shadow of a more perfect reality. And in this quiet moment, perhaps your mind can catch a glimpse of that higher world, where everything is as it truly should be. Chapter 4: The Allegory of the Cave. One of Plato's most famous stories is called The Allegory of the Cave. Imagine, if you will, a group of people who have been imprisoned in a dark cave their entire lives. They are chained in such a way that they can only see a wall of the cave in front of them. Behind them is a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners are objects being moved, casting shadows on the wall. The prisoners can only see these shadows and hear echoes. And because this is all they know, they believe the shadows are the only reality. But now, imagine one of the prisoners is freed. Slowly, he turns around and for the first time sees the fire and the objects casting shadows. It's confusing at first, even painful as the light hurts his eyes. But as he adjusts, he realizes that the shadow weren't reality at all. He is then led out of the cave and into the bright, blinding sunlight, where he sees the world as it truly is, full of color, light, and life. He has discovered the truth. Plato used this allegory to explain that most people live their lives in the cave, only seeing the shadows of reality. But through philosophy, through questioning and deep thinking, we can turn around and find the true reality. The world of forms, where truth, beauty, and justice exist in their purest forms. As you lie here tonight, let this story gently remind you that there is always more to discover beyond what we see. In the quiet moments of reflection, we may come closer to seeing the true beauty and wonder that lie beyond the surface of things. Chapter 5: Plato's Academy and Legacy. Plato's philosophical journey didn't end with his writings. Around 387 BCE, he founded the Academy, an institution where others could gather to study philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy. The Academy became one of the most famous schools in ancient Greece, lasting for centuries. It was here that Plato would teach his own students, the most famous of whom was Aristotle. As you drift into relaxation, consider the profound impact Plato had on generations of thinkers, not just in his time, but throughout history. His work laid the foundation for much of Western philosophy and education. His ideas on politics, ethics, and the nature of reality continue to inspire people to this day. Plato believed that the pursuit of truth and understanding was the noblest goal, one that leads not only to personal wisdom, but to a better society as well. Chapter 6: Plato's Search for the Ideal Society. One of Plato's most important work is the Republic, a dialogue where he explored what it means to live a just life and what the ideal society should look like. Plato believed that a society could only flourish if it was ruled by philosopher kings, those who understood the true nature of reality and were guided by wisdom and justice rather than personal gain. In this ideal society, everyone would have a role based on their abilities and talents, and they would contribute to the common good. It was a society built on harmony, where people lived in accordance with the higher ideals of truth and virtue. As you drift deeper into relaxation, allow these ideas of balance, harmony, and justice to fill your thoughts. Imagine a world where wisdom and kindness guide every action, where the pursuit of truth is valued above all. This is the vision Plato had for humanity, a vision that invites us to seek out the good in ourselves and in the world around us. As we come to the end of our journey tonight, let's reflect on the wisdom that Plato offered. His belief in the higher world of forms teaches us that there is always more to discover, more to understand beyond what we see. His story of the cave reminds us that it is okay to question, to seek the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And his vision of an ideal society encourages us to strive for justice, harmony, and wisdom in our own lives. So as you gently drift off to sleep, let the calmness of these ideas carry you through the night. Dream of ancient Athens, of the bright sunlight outside the cave, and the peaceful pursuit of knowledge and truth. May your dreams be filled with the beauty of wisdom. Aristotle, the philosopher of knowledge and reason. Welcome to another serene journey with Moonlit by Kay. Tonight, we continue our exploration of ancient Greece, drifting back in time to meet one of the most influential thinkers of all time, Aristotle. As we settle into this peaceful reflection on his life and ideas, allow yourself to relax and let go of the day's worries. Feel the tension ease from your body as you take a deep breath and prepare to immerse yourself in Aristotle's world of logic, reason, and curiosity. With each breath, let your mind unwind and open to the wisdom that has shaped our understanding of the world. Chapter 1. The Life of Aristotle. Born in 384 BCE, just before Common Era, in a small town of Stagira in northern Greece, Aristotle grew up surrounded by nature and curiosity. His father, Nicomachus, was a physician to the royal court, and young Aristotle was introduced early to the world of science and medicine. This early exposure to the natural world would later influence his philosophical outlook and his approach to studying life itself. At the age of 17, Aristotle moved to Athens, the intellectual heart of Greece, to study at Plato's academy for nearly 20 years. He studied under Plato, absorbing the teachings of his mentor while developing his own ideas. Though deeply influenced by Plato, Aristotle was destined to carve his own path. His keen interest in the natural world, observation, and practical knowledge set him apart from the more abstract ideals of his teacher. Imagine young Aristotle wandering through the olive groves of Athens, contemplating the mysteries of life, eager to unravel the truths of the world through study and observation. After Plato's death, Aristotle left Athens to travel and pursue his own studies. Eventually, he was invited to tutor Alexander the Great, the role that placed him at the heart of political and intellectual life. But Aristotle's true passion remained philosophy and the pursuit of knowledge. Later, he returned to Athens to establish his own school, the Lyceum, where he would teach, write, and change the course of Western thought forever. Chapter 2. Aristotle's Philosophy, the study of everything. Where Plato focused on the world of perfect forms, Aristotle was more concerned with the here and the now, the tangible, the physical world we live in. He believed that knowledge comes from experience and observation. This approach led him to study everything: biology, ethics, politics, physics, metaphysics, logic, poetry, and so much more. His works cover nearly every field of knowledge known at the time, making him one of the most prolific thinkers in history. As you relax tonight, imagine Aristotle carefully studying the natural world. He observed plants and animals, documenting their behaviors, structures, characteristics. He believed that everything in nature had a purpose, and through careful observation, we could understand that purpose. This approach, known as the teleology, shaped much of his scientific work. As you drift into calm, let yourself reflect on this idea that everything around us, from the smallest leaf to the stars in the sky, has purpose, a place in the grand design of the world. Chapter 3: Aristotle and Logic, the foundation of reasoning. One of Aristotle's most enduring contributions is his work on logic. He believed that clear, structured thinking was the key to understanding the world. Aristotle developed what we now call formal logic, a system for reasoning that allows us to draw conclusions based on given premises. In essence, Aristotle taught us how to think logically and systematically. Let's take a moment to reflect on the power of logic. Imagine Aristotle sitting in the shade of a tree, pen in hand, pondering a question. He begins with a premise, a simple, clear statement. For example, all humans are mortal. Then he adds a second premise. Socrates is a human. From these two premises, a conclusion naturally flows. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. This is the essence of deductive reasoning, a method that has shaped everything from scientific inquiry to everyday decision making. As you relax tonight, let Aristotle's logic bring clarity to your thoughts. Imagine your mind as a calm, still pond where thoughts ripple gently. But do not disturb the peace. With each ripple, you can see clearly the connections between ideas, understanding how one thought leads naturally to the next. Chapter 4: The Golden Mean. Aristotle's approach to ethics. Now, when it came to ethics, Aristotle believed in balance. He thought that the key to living a good life was to find the golden mean, the balance between extremes. For example, courage lies between the extremes of recklessness and cowardice. Generosity lies between wastefulness and stinginess. In every aspect of life, Aristotle believed that moderation was the key to happiness and virtue. As you settle deeper into relaxation, think about the balance in your own life. Picture a set of scales gently tipping back and forth as you seek equilibrium. Aristotle's wisdom reminds us that neither too much nor too little of anything leads to happiness. It's in the balance that you find peace, fulfillment, and contentment. Tonight, allow this idea of balance to guide your thoughts as you unwind. Let go of excess, release any feelings of lack, and let yourself rest in the calm center of moderation. Chapter 5: Aristotle's Natural Philosophy, the study of life. Now, Aristotle's curiosity extended to the natural world. He is often considered the first true biologist, as he spent much of his life observing and classifying plants and animals. He believed that by studying nature, we could gain insight into the principles that govern life itself. Aristotle categorized animals, studied their anatomy, and even tried to understand their behavior. His work laid the foundation for centuries of biological research. Now, let's take a calming stroll through the natural world as Aristotle saw it. Picture a warm, sunlit garden filled with the gentle hum of bees and the rustle of leaves in the breeze. Birds flutter from tree to tree, each species with its own distinct color and calls. Aristotle believed that by observing these creatures, by studying their patterns and understanding their place in nature, we could learn more about the larger world and ourselves. As you relax, let yourself feel connected to the natural world around you. Imagine the slow, steady rhythm of life, moving in harmony with nature. Feel the gentle pulse of life, from the smallest insect to the grandest tree. As you breathe in calm and exhale peace. Chapter 6: Aristotle's Legacy, the father of Western science and philosophy. Aristotle's influence on Western thought is immeasurable. His writings and ideas shaped the development of science, philosophy, and education for centuries. His approach to studying the natural world through observation and reason became the foundation of the scientific method. His works on ethics and politics influenced countless thinkers, from medieval scholars to modern philosophers, and his system of logic continues to be taught in schools and universities around the world. As we near the end of our journey tonight, let's take a moment to appreciate Aristotle's legacy. His teachings reminds us the importance of curiosity, balance, and reason. He believed that by seeking knowledge and understanding, we could live better, more fulfilled lives. Tonight, as you drift off to sleep, carry with you the wisdom of Aristotle, the calm pursuit of truth, the balance between extremes, and the wonder of the natural world. As you lie in the quiet, let Aristotle's calm, methodical wisdom guide you towards a peaceful night's sleep. His belief in the power of observation, logic, and balance offers a gentle reminder that even in the complexity of life, there is always a path to understanding and harmony. Allow your thoughts to settle like leaves on a still pond, and let the calm of Aristotle's teachings carry you into a restful slumber. May your dreams be filled with the quiet wisdom of this great. Pythagoras, the mysteries of numbers and harmony. Welcome back to another peaceful journey with Moonlit by K. Tonight, we embark on a tranquil exploration of one of the most fascinating minds of ancient Greece, Pythagoras, known for his contributions to mathematics and philosophy. Pythagoras believed that numbers held the key to understanding the universe. As you settle in, let the quiet of the evening wash over you, and allow your mind to drift back to ancient Greece, where Pythagoras' ideas shaped the world around him. Take a deep breath in, feeling the calm enter your body. Exhale slowly, releasing the tension from your day. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of the Ionian Sea, the waves gently lapping against the shore as we begin this journey into the world of numbers, music, and harmony. Chapter 1: The Early Life of Pythagoras. Pythagoras was born around 570 BCE, which is before Common Era, on the island of Samos, a place surrounded by the beauty of the Aegean Sea. Imagine the young Pythagoras growing up in a world filled with the rhythm of the ocean and the melodies of nature. From an early age, he was drawn to learning, traveling far and wide in search of wisdom. His journey took him to Egypt, Babylon, and possibly even India, where he absorbed the knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, and spiritual teachings. Close your eyes and picture Pythagoras standing in a sunlit temple, listening to the ancient teachings of Egyptian priests, or gazing at the stars in the clear night sky of Babylon. His mind, ever curious, sought to understand the patterns that governed not only the heavens, but also the world of numbers, believing that the entire universe was connected through mathematical harmony. As you breathe deeply, imagine the young philosopher sitting by a tranquil river, contemplating the mysteries of numbers and nature. Feel the calm settle into your body, just as Pythagoras sought calm and clarity through his study. Chapter 2. The Pythagorean School, a brotherhood of knowledge. Eventually, Pythagoras returned to Greece, where he founded a school in Croton, southern Italy. But this was no ordinary school. It was a philosophical community where students lived according to strict rules, embracing life of study, simplicity, and contemplation. Pythagoras and his followers believed that the path to understanding the universe lay in numbers and harmony, where they devoted themselves to exploring the mathematical principles that underpinned reality. Imagine yourself walking through the peaceful gardens of the Pythagorean school. The soft rustling of leaves and the distant sound of students discussing philosophy in the quiet of the afternoon. There was a deep sense of reverence for numbers in this community. They believed that everything, music, the stars, even the soul, could be understood through mathematical principles. Allow yourself to picture Pythagoras teaching his students beneath a great tree, explaining that numbers are not just symbols, but living, breathing elements of the cosmos. The number 1, he said, symbolized unity, while 2 represented duality, and 3 signified harmony. In this peaceful space, let your thoughts drift with the idea that the universe itself is a symphony of numbers playing out in perfect harmony. Chapter 3. The Pythagorean Theorem, a bridge between math and reality. One of the most famous contributions of Pythagoras is, of course, the Pythagorean Theorem, a simple yet profound mathematical truth that has stood the test of time. The theorem states that in the right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. As you relax, picture Pythagoras standing on the shore, drawing triangles in the sand, explaining this beautiful relationship to his students. For Pythagoras, this wasn't just a mathematical formula. It was a reflection of a deeper order of the universe. He believed that mathematics was a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, connecting the tangible world we see with the invisible forces that govern it. Now, as you breathe gently, imagine those perfect triangles forming in your mind. Each line and angle reflecting the harmony that Pythagoras saw in the world. Let this sense of order and balance bring a quiet calm to your thoughts, helping you unwind and release the day's stress. Chapter 4: Pythagoras and the music of the spheres, the harmony of the universe. Perhaps one of the most intriguing ideas from Pythagoras is the concept of the music of the spheres. He believed that the planets and stars moved according to mathematical equations, which corresponded to musical notes. In his mind, the entire cosmos was a vast, harmonious symphony, with each celestial body contributing to the music of the universe. As you lie here, imagine the night sky above you, filled with stars twinkling in perfect harmony. Picture each star, each planet, as a part of a grand cosmic orchestra, playing a melody too subtle for the human ear to hear, but present nonetheless. Just as each note in a song comes together to create a beautiful piece of music, Pythagoras believed that each part of the universe contributes to the whole, creating a divine harmony. Let your mind drift through the stars as the music of the spheres plays softly in the background. Imagine the universe as Pythagoras saw it, perfectly balanced, with numbers and harmony woven into its very fabric. As you breathe slowly, feel yourself becoming part of the universal harmony, resting in the peaceful knowledge that everything is connected through this eternal symphony. Chapter 5: The legacy of Pythagoras, numbers, harmony, and the search for truth. Though much of what we know about Pythagoras comes through the lens of later thinkers, his influence on mathematics, philosophy, and science is undeniable. His belief in the power of numbers, the harmony of the universe, and the connection between mathematics and spirituality has shaped centuries of thought. As you settle into sleep, reflect on the wisdom of Pythagoras and his teachings. His search for truth through numbers reminds us of the beauty and the order in the world around us. Allow yourself to relax in the knowledge that, like Pythagoras, we can find harmony and peace in the patterns of life. Let the calm of his ideas, the serenity of the stars, and the harmony of numbers lull you into a deep, restful sleep. The universe is a quiet, ordered place, and tonight you are a part of that peaceful harmony. May the wisdom of Pythagoras bring you tranquility and peace as you drift into slumber. Heraclitus, the river of change and the nature of reality. Welcome to another calming journey with Moonlit by K. Tonight, we travel back in time to explore the life and thoughts of the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus, known for his teachings on change and the ever-flowing nature of reality. Heraclitus believed that the world is in constant motion and transformation, much like a river. As you settle in for the night, allow yourself to drift along the river of time, letting go of your worries and floating gently towards a place of peace and understanding. Take a deep breath in and out. Feel the weight of the day begin to melt away. Imagine yourself standing beside a quiet river, its waters flowing endlessly by. This is the world of Heraclitus, where nothing stands still and everything is always becoming something new. Let's begin our tranquil journey into the mind of Heraclitus. Chapter 1. The early life of Heraclitus, a lonely path to wisdom. Heraclitus was born in Ephesus around 535 BCE. That's before Common Era. A bustling city in ancient Ionia. However, unlike many philosophers of his time, Heraclitus chose a solitary path. He believed that true wisdom could only be found within oneself through deep reflection and observation of the natural world. Picture young Heraclitus walking alone through the hills of Ephesus, watching the clouds drift across the sky and the rivers flow without pause. He saw in these natural movements a profound truth, that the world is constantly changing, and in this change there is meaning. As you listen, Imagine yourself walking alongside Heraclitus on a quiet forest path, the trees swaying gently in the breeze. Feel the calm of nature around you, just as Heraclitus must have felt when he contemplated the mysteries of the universe. Allow the soft sound of the flowing river to soothe your mind as we continue this peaceful journey. Chapter 2: The Philosophy of Change. You cannot step into the same river twice. One of Heraclitus's most famous ideas is the concept that everything is in a state of flux, that change is the only constant in life. He used this image of a river to explain this. Just as the water in a river is always flowing, so too is the world around us. You cannot step into the same river twice. This was said by Heraclitus, for the water is always moving, and the river is never exactly the same from one moment to the next. Close your eyes and picture a gentle river flowing past you. The water never stays still, always moving, always changing. Heraclitus believed that this river is a metaphor for life. Just as the river flows, so do we, changing with each experience, each thought, and each breath. Let this idea bring you comfort as you relax deeper into your surroundings. Change is a natural part of life, and in embracing it, we find peace. Chapter 3: Fire as the fundamental element, the symbol of transformation. For Heraclitus, fire was the most important element in the universe. He saw fire as a symbol of constant transformation, burning, changing, and renewing everything it touched. Imagine the soft glow of a fire, its flames flickering in the night, always shifting but never disappearing. Heraclitus believed that this fire represented ever-changing nature of reality, where nothing stays the same, but everything is in a constant state of becoming. As you breathe slowly, picture yourself sitting by a fire, the warmth of the flames soothing your body and mind. The fire, like the river, is always changing, yet it brings a sense of calm and continuity, just as the flames rise and fall. So do the moments of our lives, each one giving way to the next in a peaceful, natural flow. Let this image guide you deeper into relaxation as you embrace the idea that change is not something to fear, but something to accept and understand. Chapter 4: The Unity of Opposites. Finding Balance in Contradiction. Another of Heraclitus's profound teachings was the idea of the unity of opposites. He believed that all things were interconnected and that opposites such as light and dark, hot and cold, life and death are not in conflict but are necessary to create harmony in the world. Just as day turns into night, the winter gives way to spring. Heraclitus saw balance in these natural cycles, understanding that one cannot exist without the other. As you listen, imagine the sun setting on the horizon, the sky turning from bright orange to deep blue. The day fades into night, and with it comes a sense of calm. Heraclitus would remind us that both day and night are essential parts of the whole, and that life is a balance of opposites. Allow this thought to bring you peace as you settle into the rhythm of the natural world around you. Feel the tension in your body begin to ease as you embrace the harmony of opposites. In every moment of challenge, there is the promise of ease. In every moment of stress, the possibility of peace. Let this understanding help you relax as you prepare for a restful night's sleep. Chapter 5: Heraclitus's Legacy. The ever-flowing river of life. Heraclitus's ideas about change, fire, and the unity of opposites have echoed through the centuries, influencing philosophers and thinkers long after his time. His teachings remind us that life is always in motion, always evolving, and that by embracing this flow, we can find peace and wisdom. As you lie here, listen to the soft sound of your breath. Think about the river of life that Heraclitus described. Imagine yourself floating gently along this river, feeling the water carry you forward, always moving, always changing. There is no need to resist the current, for the river knows its path, and in letting go, we find calm. Take a deep breath and let yourself fully relax into this moment. The world around you may change, but in this quiet place you are safe, peaceful, and at ease. Rest in the knowledge that, like Heraclitus's river, you are part of a greater flow, always moving forward, always growing, always becoming. May the wisdom of Heraclitus guide you to a restful, peaceful sleep. The river of life flows on, and you are exactly where you need to be.